Hey there, this is Red. It's time for another episode of Red Plays. All right, so we just got done defeating Rhino Standard with the pre-constructed Scarlet Witch deck. And it was kind of fun. I kind of like the whole chaos thing that's going on with Scarlet Witch there. So now it's time to step it up to Rhino Expert mode and see if we can do the same thing, take that pre-constructed deck and use Scarlet Witch to take out Rhino. Now, and kind of the way they designed the game, Fantasy Flight has said that pre-constructed decks are really made for your standard decks to make you, or the standard villains, and make you feel like you have kind of a chance against the standard villain. So going to expert, they suggest you should be probably pre-building or building your deck a little bit. So there's some cards I would probably filter out of here if I were to build the deck to play against Rhino. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to use a pre-constructed deck just to kind of get an idea of the power curve against Rhino, because some of the pre-constructed decks do really good just because the heroes are really good. Like Doctor Strange, I think it doesn't really matter what cards you throw in with Doctor Strange, he's going to do really good and can take out most of the expert villains. He does a really good job on. So anyway, we're going to go Scarlet Witch against expert Rhino, see how this works out. Now, breaking and taken, that's the thing with expert Rhino, is breaking and taken starts out on the board, and getting that second encounter card is a really bad thing, especially right at the beginning of the game. So luckily Scarlet Witch has got some stuff to help us optimize potentially getting rid of that breaking and taken, and we'll try to make that happen. All right, so we got Rhino 2, he's got 15 hit points. Hopefully Luminous stays up in the corner the whole game because she's pretty nasty. She did come out last game, but she didn't get to do anything, which was the best way to actually see what she does. Is she gets on the board but doesn't have a chance to do anything. We're all right with that. All right, let's get this rolling. Rhino's out, breaking and taken's out. Break in, want to max them off. We need 6 cards. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's see what we've got here. So we've got Molecular Decay, which is one of our big damage cards. It's kind of our signature hero, does a lot of damage. So 5 damage plus we're going to get rid of 2 encounter cards, and the boost icons add on to that damage. So we've got Heroic Intuition, which we should all know what that is. We've got 2 Crisis Averteds, a Spiritual Meditation, and a Magic Shield. So Spiritual Meditation lets me draw 2 cards, and then I have to discard a card. So essentially I'm doing 2 cards. I'm filtering 2 cards because I have to play a Spiritual Meditation also. It's got a cost of 0. Magic Shield is an upgrade I put out there, and it blocks 3 damage, which is nice. The Crisis Averted is not anything that's going to, well, I guess I could use it. Well, no, I can't because it's the main scheme. So remove 6 threat from the main scheme. I do not have 6 threat on the main scheme at this point. And if I've got 6 threat on the main scheme, I'm pretty close to losing. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of these 3 cards. Oh, wait, no, because I need to, we're going to keep this one because I may need to bump my thwart up in order to get that breaking and taken out of there. We'll see how this plays out. So here's 2, 3. All right, so Warp Reality is a cool card. Warp Reality says, when an encounter card is revealed from the encounter deck, cancel all of its effects and discard it. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to the number of boost icons on that card. So the nice part about that is when it comes Rhino's turn to do something, I can just nope essentially his turn, and he doesn't do anything that turn, which is kind of nice. All right, so what are we going to start off with here? I think what we're going to start off with is our Spiritual Meditation. We're going to keep these cards, well, we already mulliganed, so we're going to use our Spiritual Meditation first. Now, the nice thing about Spiritual Meditation is it says play only if your identity has the Mystic trait and it's an action. Well, Wanda happens to have the Mystic trait on her alter ego side. And actually, let me look really fast. Let me grab Doctor Strange here. So Doctor Strange is a Mystic on his Doctor Strange side, but I haven't looked. Is he? Oh, he's a Mystic on his Stephen Strange side too. All right. I was thinking maybe Wanda was special, but she's not as special as I thought she was. Okay, anyway, we're going to do our Spiritual Meditation. So we're going to draw 2 cards, and then we're going to discard 1 card from our hand. So 1, we have another Molecular Decay and a Hex Bolt. Oh, all right. So the nice thing about the Hex Bolt is it might get us our remove 2 thwart from a scheme, which would get us into taking out the break-in and taken without having to play our heroic intuition. So I think we want to hold on to the Hex Bolt. Problem is, if we play Hex Bolt, we can't also play a Molecular Decay unless we get a draw card, which is a possibility. I think we're going to let one of our Molecular Decays go because we're not going to be able to play both of them. All right. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to flip on over to Scarlet Witch. So we did have on our Wanda Maximoff side, I could have discarded 2 cards and drawn 2 cards. I'm not going to worry about that. We're going to go over to Scarlet Witch. Now, let's see here. Just to remind us on Scarlet Witch's power, when boost icons on an encounter card would be counted, discard the top card of the encounter deck and count that number of boost icons on that card instead. So I can do this Hex Bolt and then I can manipulate it a little bit. So I think we're going to do that first. We're going to start with that and see if we can get a draw card and maybe a remove 2 thwart, I think is what we're going for there. And ideally, we push that into maybe a Molecular Decay. The best would be a remove 2 thwart, draw a card, and put a status card. That's what I would really hope for. So let's see if we can do that. So we're going to go 1, 2, and we're going to Hex Bolt. Boom! All right, so we're going to get 3 cards out, and we're going to see what they do. So 3 encounter cards. 1, 2, 3. All right, first one is a 2, so there's our draw card. And we have a 2. All right, so let's draw another card. And then we have a 2, so we could draw 3 cards. So if I drew 3 cards, that kind of messes up my whole plan for getting rid of the break-in and taken. I really need one of those to be a remove 2 threat from a scheme. So I'm going to use Wanda's power to get rid of one of these and draw another card. And hopefully it's a 1. And we get another 2. All right, so we've got 3 2s out there. So it looks like we're going to draw 3 cards. All right, that was not the plan, but hopefully we can make the best out of that. So instead we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that is interesting. We got a Chaos Magic. So Chaos Magic says play a card from your hand ignoring the resource card cost. Discard cards from the encounter pile from the encounter deck equal to the printed resource cost. So I could play my Molecular Decay for only the cost of 1 there, which would be pretty cool, I have to say. Then I could get my Scarlet Witch's Crest out there, which can modify boost icons up or down 1, which maybe I should do before I do the Molecular Decay. The downside, what do I have here? So I can potentially there's no way I can get rid of the break-in and taken, which is unfortunate at this point in time. I used my power. I should not be exhausted. I don't know why I'm exhausted. Why did I do that? Bad me. I didn't play anything that exhausts me. All right. What we are going to do is we will now exhaust Scarlet Witch. Take 2 off of break-in and taken. All right. Then we're going to do Chaos Magic. Let's make the chaos happen. Nope. Wrong order. We're going to do our Scarlet Witch's Crest first. So 2 to get Scarlet Witch's Crest out, which is going to let me move around the number on a card. So we're going to get that one out. This is going to stay down here. And then we're going to use our Chaos Magic to play Molecular Decay. So Chaos Magic says, play a card from your hand ignoring the resource cost. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to that card's printed resource cost. So we're going to do 3. So 1, 2, 3. All right, that's going to fire off our Molecular Decay. Molecular Decay says deal 5 damage to an enemy, discard the top 2 cards for each boost icon, deal 1 additional damage to the enemy. So we're going to discard 2 more. Hasn't even, we'll count these up at the end here. We're going to get 2 cards, and we're looking at 3 damage there. We might as well go ahead and use our Scarlet Witch's Crest to bump that up 1. So we're going to do a total of 9 damage to Rhino. All right, so that's going to knock him down to 6. We left the breaking and taking, which is annoying. All right, how many encounter cards did we go through? We went through a lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 encounter cards in the discard pile, and Rhino hasn't even gone yet. Welcome to Scarlet Witch. All right. So that is the end of my turn. There's nothing else I can do. We're going to unexhaust. We've got our Warp Reality in our hand, which we'll hold on to because we can counter an encounter card, which we're going to need to do without breaking and taking out there. I think we're going to have to stop one of those. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is our hand size. All right. We got the Crisis Averted, which lets us get rid of a ton of threat. Doesn't do us much good. We've got to Turn the Tide, which says after I thwart and remove all threat from a scheme, deal 3 damage, which is interesting. And we also have the Multitasking, which says remove 2 threat from a scheme. If I paid for it using a mental resource, remove 2 threat from a different scheme. So that could help me clear the board. All right, so we're going to go to the villain's turn at this point. So we're going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. Rhino is going to see Scarlet Witch out there. He's going to come attack her. So he's attacking for 3. We're going to go ahead and take this damage because I don't think we've got much other choice. And it's going to boost 1, so we're going to take 4. We won't manipulate it any. We'll just go ahead and take 4. So I think that's kind of getting out of that scrape pretty easy. All right, now here's the bad part is we're going to draw 2 encounter cards. So 1, 2. All right. Counter card number 1 is Explosion. If Bomb Scare is in play, assign X damage, which it's not. Bomb Scare is not in play. This card gains Surge. All right, so the card's going to Surge. Another encounter card, and it is Tough. So Rhino's going to get a Tough status card. Okay. Now, I hadn't used my Warp Reality because that wasn't all that bad of a thing. So let's see what this one is. This one is Caught Off Guard. Discard an upgrade or support you control. If no cards were discarded in this way, it gains Surge. So I think we're going to Warp Reality that one. Yes, we're going to go ahead and use Crisis Averted to do a Warp Reality, which says when encounter card is revealed from the encounter deck, cancel all of its effects and discard it, because I want to keep my crest. So Caught Off Guard is going to go away. We're canceling that. All right, so that is the end of the villain's turn. We're back over to the hero's turn. Okay, so what we're looking at is we don't have a whole lot that we can do. What we can do is we can use the Power of Justice to be a mental resource to play Multitasking, which says remove 2 threat from a scheme if you pay for this card using a mental resource, remove 2 threat from a different scheme. So I can do 2 threat off of this scheme and 2 threat off of this scheme, which is great because it gets rid of break-in and taken and it leaves the break-in empty. And then I can play Turn the Tide, which says after your hero thwarts and removes all threat from a scheme, deal 3 damage to an enemy. That means I get to do 3 damage to Ryan. Oh, no, I don't. Hold on. Before I do that, we'll attack for 1. Ink, and get rid of the Tough. Then we'll do that, which results in the Turn the Tide, which lets me do 3 damage to Rhino. And we'll knock him down from a 5 to a 2 spot there. So he's from 6, he's down to 3. All right. So before I did all that thwarting, we attack for 1, which takes away his Tough. Okay. So we're done at that point. Okay, so the next question is going to be, I would be looking at an attack from Rhino. That attack could potentially do 6 damage. I could knock it down by 1. I could use my ability to get a different card. If he attacks twice, I'm really going to be hurting. So I think we're going to flip down to Wanda Maximoff. And then we're going to be done. All right, we're going to draw up to 6. So we've got a spiritual meditation, some more multitasking, another spiritual meditation, a Hex Bolt, a Quicksilver, and a Turn the Tide. All right. Not an impressive hand. Quicksilver is pretty cool because he can ready once per phase. It's kind of nice. Plus, if I get my team up card, did I already go through my team up card or not? Did I see it already? I think I might have seen it already. Yep, I already saw my team up card. So it's not going to do me any good to have him out right now. Well, he's a decent ally. He's got one thwart to attack, but I don't get the bonus. Okay. We're going on to the villains phase. What's going to happen on the villain phase? We've got Rhino. We're going to go one threat on the main scheme first. Let's do that first. Next up, Rhino's going to see Wanda out there, so he's going to scheme. He's going to scheme for 1, and he's going to boost 2. So he's going to scheme for 3. I think we're going to use our crest. We'll go ahead and use our... No, we're not going to use our crest. We'll let him scheme for 3. All right, so it's going to go up to 4. And that's a little bit on the dangerous side because next we need encounter cards. This is an advance. We're in a lot of trouble. Let's see what we got. Counter card is tough. All right, so he's going to get tough again. Well, I guess it's good that I took it off and did some damage because he just got it right back. All right, so that's the end of the villain's turn. We're over to the hero side. Okay, how are we going to play this one? I think, do we exhaust and heal? Or do we save the exhaust to get rid of the tough? I think we exhaust and heal because we could really use the health. So we're going to exhaust, we're going to heal up. So we're back up to 1 because Rhino hits really hard. We're going to play our first spiritual meditation, which says draw 2 cards. Then I have to discard 1. So we're going to draw 2. We're going to get a Hex Bolt and a Heroic Intuition. I think we're going to get rid of our Heroic Intuition. All right, then we're going to play another spiritual meditation. So we're going to do the same thing again. So we're going to draw 2. And we're going to have to discard 1. Oh, look at that. Look at all those Hex Bolts. Wow. What are we going to discard? I think we're going to discard speed. All right, so what are we looking at here? So we've got to turn the tide that says, after I thwart, remove all threat from an enemy, I can deal 2 damage to him. And I've got a couple of Hex Bolts. Now, if I play 1 Hex Bolt, the other option would be to get Quicksilver out there. But I think I want to get the Hex Bolt. Oop. I think I'm going to want to get the Hex Bolt action going. In order to do that, though, I'm going to need to switch over to Scarlet Witch side. Quicksilver would be nice in that he could attack twice. No, I don't think Quicksilver is the right answer here. I think Hex Bolts are the right answer. All right, so we're going to flip over to Scarlet Witch. We're going to pull off our first Hex Bolt. So we're going to get 2 cards. We're going to cast a Hex Bolt. So Hex Bolt says, oop, I can get rid of the 2. And get rid of our multitasking. We're going to do a Hex Bolt. So Hex Bolt says, I'm going to discard 3 cards from the encounter deck, and we're going to see what they do. So 1, 2, 3. Let's see what we've got here. So we've got, boom, 2 icons, which is draw card. We've got 1 icon, which is remove 2 threat from a scheme, which we want. And we got 1 icon, which is remove 2 threat from a scheme. All right, so I could modify that into a draw 2 cards using my Scarlet Witch's crest. So I could make that remove 2 threat from a scheme and then draw 2 cards. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to use Scarlet Witch's crest to modify one of these up to a 2. So it's 2 2s and a 1. So 2 draw cards, 1 remove 2 threat from a scheme. All right. 2 draw cards, 1 remove threat from a scheme. So we're going to remove threat from the scheme, take 2 off of there, and we're going to draw 2 cards. 1, 2. All right. So we're going to do another Hex Bolt. So this is going to be Hex Bolt number 2. All right, Hex Bolt number 2. We're going to get 3 more encounter cards. Holy cow, we're burning through his deck fast. We've got a 1, a 2, and a 1. All right. So what's that going to do for us? That's going to be a 2 threat from a scheme, draw a card, and 2 threat from a scheme. All right, I can't modify any of those up, which is a bummer. So we're going to do 2 threat from a schemes and 1 draw card. I could use Scarlet Witch's ability to force a redraw of one of those. Yeah, I think we're going to use Scarlet Witch's ability, which says when a boost icon on an encounter card would be counted, discard the top card of the encounter deck and count that number of boosts instead. Oh, but we got a 1 again. All right, so we got, still it's 2 remove threats from a scheme and 1 draw card. All right, so we get to draw a card. We're removing 2 threat from a scheme. So that's going to go away. When that happens, we're going to do a turn the tide. So turn the tide says after your hero, oh, wait a minute, I have to thwart in order to make that happen. Oh, I didn't thwart. Darn it. Okay. Well, so that didn't work out like I wanted it to work out. Didn't think about that. All right. So instead, what I think we're going to do is we're going to use our Turn the Tide and our Swift Retribution to bring Wiccan into play. So Wiccan's got the ability when he thwarts, I can discard the top card of the card and do a damage for each boost icon. But we're not going to do that with Wiccan. We're going to attack with Wiccan. And we're going to get that tough off of Rhino. All right, then we're going to be done. We're going to ready all of our things. We're going to draw back up to 5. So we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Villain's turn. We're going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. Rhino is going to look to attack Scarlet Witch, and we're going to take this attack. So he's attacking for 3. He's going to get a boost. And he's doing 4 damage total. We'll take the 4 damage. So we're at 5. Do we have a 5? Where's 5? That's half our health. All right, so let's draw an encounter card. Encounter card is Master Plan. Place 4 threat on each side scheme, which there aren't any. So if there are no side schemes in play, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a side scheme is discarded, and then I'm going to reveal that side scheme. Wow, we're going through this deck pretty fast. All right, so we're looking for a side scheme. It's not a side scheme, not a side scheme, not a side scheme, not a side scheme. Nope, nope, no, 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 no. All right, so he's going to deck out. That's going to give him that means acceleration token. I'm going to shuffle back up. All right. The kind of good news is that didn't happen. And actually, I think Master Plan should end up in my discard pile because this happened while resolving Master Plan. All right, so we decked out while resolving Master Plan. And Rhino is complete at that point in time. And we're over to the hero turn. All right, so what do we got going on? We got Wiccan there. Wiccan can pull off an attack. When he does that, we've potentially got, I think when Rhino 3 comes out, Toughness comes out. I think we're going to go ahead and do the attack with Wiccan first, just to see how that resolves. Well, let's start there. All right, so actually we're going to thwart with Wiccan. He does that. So I would have to hero thwart. We'll do it with Wiccan. All right. Wiccan's going to thwart, and then we're going to reveal an encounter card and deal 1 damage to an enemy for each icon on there, which is 1. All right, so he's down to 2. All right, I think next up we're going to do our next Hex Bolt. So we're going to spend 2 to do a Hex Bolt. And we kind of know this one at this point in time. So we're going to get 3 cards. Let's see which 3 we get. We have a whole new deck of cards. So we get a 0, a 1, and a 2. So the 0 is deal 2 damage to an enemy. We've got 1, which is remove 2 threat from a scheme. And then 2, which is draw a card. So I think what we shall do is we will modify one of those. We'll modify that 1 into a 2. So we draw 2 cards and deal 2 damage to an enemy. All right, so we're going to draw 2 cards, deal 2 damage to an enemy. All right, so draw 2 cards. 1, 2, 1, 2. Deal 2 damage to an enemy, which is going to take Rhino out. All right, Rhino 3 is going to come out. Rhino 3 has, 16 hit points? So we're going to get a 10. There's a 10, a 5, and a 1. And he's going to get tough. And he's going to stun each hero. Oh, I forgot about that part. Lame. All right. He stunned me. Jerk. All right. Next up, what do we got going on? Molecular Decay is an attack. That was one of the things I was hoping to go for there. So that messes me up. All right. I could play it and it would clear the attack off of me. Actually, instead of doing that, well, what I could do is I could try to do a Swift Retribution, which is a hero action attack, but that would be canceled by the stun. But that doesn't leave me with enough to actually do the Molecular Decay. He has tough anyway. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to use the Power of Justice to try to pull off a Swift Retribution. So that's going to attempt to do a hero action attack, but because I'm stunned, it's going to remove the stun. All right. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get Agatha Harkness into play. I think I'm going to use my Turn the Tide to bring Agatha Harkness into play. Yeah, we're going to use my Turn the Tide to bring Agatha Harkness into play. Okay, we're going to flip down to Wanda Maximoff. We're going to recover for 3. We're going to put us at 2. We're going to use Agatha Harkness, which says exhaust Agatha Harkness. Ooh. I'll look at the top 3 cards of my deck. I get to take 1, which I will take the Magic Shield, and put the other 2 at the bottom of my deck, which is a set of 3 cards. All right. Let's see, that's an upgrade, so I'm going to use my Molecular Decay to get my Magic Shield out there. All right. We're done at that point in time, so we're going to pull these back. We're going to draw up to our hand size, which is 1, 2, 3. Encounter card. Boo. and shuffle. All right, so I guess what I'm looking at is I got toughness out there. I've got Wiccan out there. Wiccan could take an attack, but we're going to get schemed on this round. Theoretically, we could get up to 16 points of damage in a round. It's possible. Not very likely, but it's possible. It's more likely with Agatha Harkness in play and her Scarlet Witch's crest out there. That starts to tilt things in our favor. If we can get one of those molecular decays, we could do potentially a lot of damage. We'll see. I'm getting way ahead of myself because there's a lot of badness to happen before we get there. So let's see what happens. We're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 6. There's 6 cards. Let's see what we got. We've got multitasking, strength, swift retribution, 2 swift retributions, magic shield, and spiritual meditation. So like no attack stuff, which is kind of what I was hoping for, but we didn't get any of it. All right, so we're gonna go with the villain's turn. We've got an acceleration token. We're gonna put 2 threat on the main scheme. Rhino's gonna see Wanda out there, so he's gonna scheme. He's scheming for 1. He's gonna get a boost of 2. So that's gonna be 3. That's gonna take it up to 5. I could modify it, but I think we're gonna let it go. And then we're going to get encounter card and hope that neither of them are advanced, because if one of them is an advance, we're in a really tough spot. All right. So our first one is going to be Breaking and Taken. Ooh, I don't like that one. That one's going to come in and it's going to have 3 on it. 2, 3. All right. Next thing to come in is going to be Tough. Oh, he's already got tough, so it's going to surge. All right, we're going to surge into something else, which is a Sandman. Who's going to have tough. All right, where's tough for Sandman? All right, so that's the end of the villain's turn. We're over to the hero's turn. All right, so how do we want to play this one out? So I think... So that is going to be the villain's schemes. That sounds like a really bad idea. Do we do our Agatha Harkness first? Let's do our spiritual meditation first. So we're going to spiritual meditate. We're going to draw 2 cards. 1, 2. I'm going to discard a card. Which one are we getting rid of? I think we're getting rid of Heroic Intuition. I don't think we're going to use it. All right. Next up, we're going to... Do we do the discard 2 cards? Yeah, we're going to use Wanda Maximoff's ability, which says discard 2 cards from her hand, draw 2 cards. We're going to get rid of our swift retributions, I think. The problem with the swift retributions is he's going to scheme, and that's a bit of a problem right now. I think we're going to let those go. I don't know if that's the right answer, but there we go. So we're going to get a Hex Bolt and a Turn the Tide. All right, then we're going to use Agatha Harkness. And she's going to, I get to go 3 cards. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 in my hand and put the other 2 at the bottom. So, guess we will get a spiritual meditation. Put the other 2 at the bottom. And we'll do spiritual meditation. So we're going to draw 2 cards. Wow. Draw a card and a card. And then I get to discard a card. What are we getting rid of here? Do we get rid of the power of justice? I think we get rid of the power of justice. Well, the power of justice counts as a mental. So it might be good for a multitasking. If I use it for that, then I can multitask. Let's see how this works out here. So there's a multitask that would get rid of. So Wiccan could hit Breaking and Taken. Then I could multitask into a Turn the Tide. And I think we're going to get rid of one of our multitasks. All right. I think we're going to go over to Scarlet Witch at this point. All right. So now we're going to get through this. All right. So the first thing I think we're going to do is, do I have Scarlet Witch attack? Because I need to, the problem is if there's any, I need to remove some thwart from that, but I also want to get the tough off of Rhino. I think we will have Wiccan thwart first. So Wiccan, that's going to use up Wiccan if I do that. I think we're going to do it. All right. But he's only going to hit potentially for one. Ugh. Could have Scarlet Witch attack, and if she does that, she's going to ping the tough off of Rhino. Then Wiccan's thing could flip more than one card, which would be very cool. Yeah, I think we're going to have Scarlet Witch attack. Now, this is the right thing. Remove the tough from Rhino. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to have Wiccan thwart for one. So he's going to thwart one off the Breaking and Taken. When he does that, I'm going to discard the top card of the encounter deck. Deal damage to an enemy equal to boost icons, which is 1. So we got 1 boost icon there. So we're going to do 1 to... Oh, do we do 1 to Rhino or 1 to Sandman? I think we're going to do 1 to Sandman. All right. Next up, nope, that's going to get rid of Wiccan because he's going to take a consequential damage and he's going to go away. All right, next up, we're going to go ahead and play multitasking. So we're going to use our Power of Justice to be a mental. That says thwart, remove 2 threat from a scheme. If it played using a mental, remove 2 threat from another scheme. So we're going to remove 2 threat from a scheme and 2 threat from another scheme. When we do that, we can play, let's see there, after your hero thwarts or removes all damage from a scheme, deal 3 damage to an enemy. I'm going to do 3 damage to an enemy. All right, so the question is, do I do it to Sandman or do I do it to Rhino? I think I'm going to do this to Rhino. So he's going to take 3. That's going to knock him down to, what's that? We're at 16. We're going to knock him down to 13. The problem is we're going for the finishing move here, and we'll see if it works out. Don't know. All right, I don't think we're going to do it with, do I do it with the Hex Bolt? Do I hit him with the Hex Bolt and then hit him with a Molecular Decay? I think I'm going to hit him with a Molecular Decay. We're going to Molecular Decay him. So that's going to 5 damage and discard 2 cards and add those boost icons. So right now we're doing 5. We're going to get a 2 and a 1. All right, so I have the ability with Scarlet Witch to, when I look at boost icons, I can get rid of that and get a different card instead. So we're going to get rid of this Hydra Bomber and see if we can get something bigger. So it's another 1. All right. Then I can also use Scarlet Witch's Crest to bump it up by 1. So we're going to do 9 damage because it's 5 base, and then we get that up to 4. So I do 9 damage, and he's down to 4. All right, that looks kind of good. We've pretty much done everything we can do. And we need to make it through the next round. We're going to hold on to our Hex Bolt because that might be our magic thing to help us through the next round. All right, so we're done. We do have a magic shield out there. We're going to unexhaust all of our stuff. I'm going to draw back up to a hand size of 5. So 2, 3, 4, 5. We got some fun things there. We got the Chaos Magic, which is I can play a card ignoring its cost, and I got 2 4-cost cards and a Molecular Decay. So I need to live through this round. Let's see if I can do that. All right, first off, I'm going to put 2 threat on the main scheme. Up to 5. Next, Rhino is going to see Scarlet Witch, and he's going to come to attack Scarlet Witch. We're just going to take this attack. So he's attacking for 4. He's going to get a boost. He's boosting for 2, so he's doing 6 damage. We're taking all 6. So we're going to go up from 2 up to 8 damage. Ouch. All right. Next up, Sandman's going to come attack. He's attacking for 3, but we've got a magic shield out there, so we're going to use that. When I would take any amount of damage, discard a magic shield, prevent 3 of that damage. We're going to prevent 3 that Sandman would do. All right, here's the big money thing. What happens when we draw the encounter card? Encounter card is Gang Up. Oh no, do I have anything to cancel that? I don't. The Gang Up's going to get me. So that was, yep, that was the gamble there. And the gamble did not pay off. If I would have gone, yep. So Gang Up's going to happen, and the villain and each minion engaged attack me. Oh, all right. So I gambled and I lost. All right. So Rhino is going to come attack me. He's attacking me for 4. I can defend for 2. So I'm taking 2, and he's going to boost 1. So that's, what is that? So he's up to 5. I defend for 2. So I'm taking 3. But I can actually use Scarlet Witch's crest to reduce that 1. So instead I take 2 damage. So I'm at 9. But unfortunately, Sandman also attacks for 3 and finishes me off. Oh, man. Damn it. Oh, I was so close. Ugh. Okay. I had many ways that I could, Molecular Decay, Hex Bolt, could have hit him twice with Quicksilver. I would have had him next round. It just didn't pan out. I got the one wrong card. If it would have been a Hydra Bomber, I would have been all right. If it would have been, oh, that would have been also, would have been okay. A false alarm. It was, even if it had been not Gang Up, but like one of the other ones, Stampede would have been okay. Ivory Horn would have been okay. So many of these other cards would have just been okay. It was the one card. An Advanced would have messed me up too, probably. Oh, so close. But he drew exactly what he needed and he finished me off. So Rhino's got the first win in expert mode, but I felt like I was really close there. So not too bad. Not bad for a pre-constructed deck. Maybe I played something wrong there. You'd have played something a little bit different. Let me know in the comments. That's what it's there for. Help me with my gameplay a little bit there. But I gotta say, Scarlet Witch is looking pretty good. So she got Rhino pretty close to out of there. And had he not drawn the right card, she would have taken him out, taken out Expert Rhino. It's my second game playing Scarlet Witch. So that's pretty impressive, I feel, being able to take out an expert, getting close to taking out an expert villain. So really happy with that. Scarlet Witch is looking pretty good at this point in time. The Chaos Magic is a lot of fun trying to figure out everything that's going on. I like that better than some of the other card manipulation stuff. I like playing with the encounter deck and messing around with that a little bit better. So, even if, I guess, on that round, had I not defeated him, he would have potentially schemed out. With both Sandman and Rhino, I couldn't have gone another round. I would have had to have defeated him. He was in a place where I could have defeated him. If I had not defeated him on that round, there were multiple ways you would have beat me, probably either from damage or from scheming out, one of the two. So that was really kind of the make or break into the game. There was the big finale, and he got me. So that's the way the game goes sometimes. Just the wrong card or the right card at the specific time. So all right, there we go. That's our first go at Expert Rhino. We'll probably do another one. I was so close. I would like to play another one and see whether he just smears me or whether I can actually get the win. I've got a feeling he could potentially just smear me with the right cards, but I think I was so close to the win there. It's got to happen. Anyway, look forward to another Rhino Scarlet Witch matchup, and we'll see how that goes. And maybe I'll tweak Scarlet Witch deck a little bit and try something a little bit different. So that's it for now, and thanks for watching.